Top 5 tips for new Funko Pop collectors. Hey guys, I have been getting a ton of questions lately from people that are just joining the new world of Funko Pop collecting. So I figured, why not make a little video in giving a few pieces of advice, again, from me, my opinion based, all of that. If you differ or, don't want to listen to it, that's cool too. But I figured, why not try to help out and share some knowledge. But before I get started, I would like to welcome a very new sponsor to the channel, Zobie Productions. If you have been watching my channel from day one, you know that I have been buying their bi-monthly subscription, horror subscription boxes. They do signatures, they have all different kinds of pop culture, anime, all of that good stuff. So really something for everybody. If you guys want to check them out, I will have their website and Instagram down below. And now we're going to get into the tips for collectors. I have 5. Some of these tips are going to be similar to not getting scammed or just general knowledge in collecting. But I think the biggest issue is that a lot of seasoned collectors don't understand that not everybody knows what they know. Tip number 5 is don't try to go buy everything, all the pops you see. Don't buy them all. I mean, I think we're all a little bit guilty of this when we first get into collecting. It's like all of a sudden everywhere you go, you notice these things and you want to grab them all. And then before you know it, you have 200 Amazon, Walmart, and Target exclusives that you don't know what to do with. Start slow. Do a little bit of research. Okay, you have some interest. You know that you want to start collecting. Great. Do a little bit of research. Find the different genres of pops, the different areas. Just research a little bit and then slowly wean your way in. So many people regret buying probably the first 50 to 75 pops because they're new and it's exciting and they want to grab everything. But that's going to lead us into tip number 4. Decide what kind of collector you're going to be. Now, what do I mean when I say decide what kind of collector? I mean, are you going to collect for value? Are you going to collect to invest? Are you going to collect to complete certain sets? Are you only into Marvel or horror, etc.? This is important to know early on because it could save you from buying a ton of things that you're really not going to end up wanting in the long run. And I know everybody in the comments is going to be typing that don't collect for value, it's not real collecting, blah, blah, blah. The truth is that everybody collects for a different reason and you don't have to just pick one. You can both love something and appreciate the value that it might have or could have in the future. But if you think that you're gonna start buying Funko Pops and they're gonna go up 200, 300% in a few days or weeks of buying them, you're going to be sadly mistaken. Some of these will go up in value and some of them will go down in value. Some of them will stay the same. If you are only in it for the value, then you need to be only buying vaulted pops. And there is a good chance that those also have even gone as high as they're gonna go, obviously pending movies, shows, we know what different things inflate. But for the most part, it's gone as high as it's gonna go, so buyer beware. Number 3, or tip number 3. And I say this lightly, and I'm going to explain both sides before you comment. Tip number 3, don't give in to the FOMO. And I will explain generally that it's not a good idea. If something is dropping on Hot Topic, Walmart, Target, whatever the case is, 99% of the time, it's going to restock after that first initial drop. All the time I see people running to Mercari and eBay and buying the pop for 10, 20 times more the value. It's a brand new pop, more often than not, like way more often than not, especially in the big box stores. They're gonna restock that pop, like for sure, pretty much. Now, the little piece that I do want to insert in taking away where FOMO may not really be considered is con drops, like sticker drops, stuff like that. That may be a little bit more of, if you want to try to get it, I would. Chances are those pops tend to go up a little bit more in value and hold a little bit better. Not all the time, but again, there are cases where you should go and run and get that pop. Rarer cases, but again, more often than not. I don't know if you're going to all the cons, but the Target drops, the Hot Topic drops, the Walmart drops, all of those initial drops are going to restock. Also make sure that you're following Dish Tracker or one of the other many content creators that post about the drops with links, all those awesome things. Very good to know when you're getting into collecting. So again, patience is king. Again, for the example, if it's a Funko Shop drop, while it may not restock, the price in the market will go down after a few weeks. So, F the FOMO. If you want to try to get that Funko Shop exclusive, go ahead and get it. But if you can't get it from the Funko Shop, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to go and find it, wait a little bit. Just wait a little bit. Tip number 2. Join Facebook groups. Seriously, this is one of the best things that you can do for new collectors and for old collectors. Now, with that being said, there are a lot of trolls in some of these groups, but there are also a lot of good people who genuinely want to help and try to provide, helpful information to new collectors. It's a place where you can find pops for good deals, lots for good deals. You can sell some of the time. You can also ask questions about things that you don't know. Again, it is the internet, so take the advice with a grain of salt, ask more than one person, but these places are great to buy, sell, learn about pops. And just remember, obviously, always pay PayPal goods and services, and then you should be fine. One day they're gonna sponsor me. One day. Not too long ago, I went to NYCC and I got some prototypes, which I literally knew close to nothing about. I joined some Facebook groups, I asked a ton of questions, talked to a ton of people, and I got some much needed information, and I found a person who wanted it, who bought it. Another thing that these groups are good for is legit checks. Now, do I necessarily believe that it's necessary to ask a legit check of every single pop you get, especially if you're grabbing one off of the Target shelf or whatever the case is? But definitely a helpful place for those older, rare, hard to find pops. If you do end up getting one in your possession and you're not quite sure, these places have been super helpful. Just make sure that you're talking to somebody who has a decent reputation, knows a little bit about what they're talking about, or some kind of reputable company. And the most important rule that I'm going to give you, rule number 1, is do not let others tell you how to collect. This is super important to me because everybody has their own opinion on what collecting is or what it should look like. And I see a lot of people that, it boils down to just collect what you love. But at the end of the day, if what you love isn't what they love, then they'll have some way to bring you down or tell you what you're doing is not the way you should be doing it. Don't listen to these people. It is your money, whether you want to collect because you want to sell them later, whether or not you want to collect to resell immediately, whether or not you want to collect because you do love them. It's your business, no one else's business. A lot of times when people are selling their collection, they'll reach out and, I'll ask why are you selling your collection if it's, a really good one, etc. And a lot of the time people will respond with, they lost the love for the hobby. There's a lot of toxic people in the community. I hear a ton of stuff. Now, while I don't necessarily agree that the general collecting community is toxic, I think it's more of a case that there are bigger people that are louder. So it feels like you know, you hear it all the time, so it must be happening all the time and everywhere, but that's just not the case. And that's pretty much like all bad media. You always hear more of the bad stuff than the good stuff. The truth is that there are a lot of wonderful people in this community. There are people constantly trading, like picking up things for other people in drops. I mean, there's a lot of love that I think still overpowers the toxic element of what people may see. Now, with all that being said, I do want to throw out just a little like piece in the out-of-box collector world. I have actually myself become more of a, I want to take the pop out and display it on my shelf. However, a little like snippet of maybe like a 1A, keep the boxes. Store them somewhere nice and safe, because you know what? Life's crazy. You never know when you're going to be in a pinch or a bind and you may need to sell your collection. The value of it will be a lot more if you have those boxes that you're able to put the figures back in. That's just a general good piece of advice, I think. Feel free to throw and rip and burn your boxes if you so choose and don't see that happening in your future, fine. But I think that's a little good piece of advice. Well, I am done ranting. That is my tips for new collectors. Welcome. Happy to have you guys. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to do what I do if you guys didn't come in and join, as well as all of the already existing people in this hobby. But I love you guys. Make sure to check out my sponsors down below. And that's pretty much it for today's little rant. And I'll see you on Sunday.